living in, we are competing in, we are repeating in, we are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.
Welcome back to the last live broadcasting for the broadcast Best for the World. This last session is going to be quite a summary of what we have experienced during the last 4 days, and we will give a small personal reflection of what we have experienced, on what we have seen, and also on how can we carry the torch of hope and inspiration further from here. How can we do it together? And as you probably noticed, we have quite an outfit change. As you can also see on my guest, Stella Nordal is with me, and also Captain Future, who has been helping us during the night shifts, so that we could get some sleep. So thank you first of all for that. But Stellan, what is this cape?
Yeah, what is the cape? It's a capability cape. It's referring to the ID model, intentional decision model, taking us from victimhood to capability cape. That's the idea about this. And I'm very glad now that we have managed all those together. We have been more than 100-ish, I don't know, 120, I don't know how many, people co-creating this whole weekend with this live broadcast from all over the world. And Michael, you've been talking to a lot of people. Just you have been talking to I don't know how many. Do you know that?
Around 20, I think so.
Around 20, and that is just Captain Future show.
Yeah.
What was the best memory from the Captain Future show, you would say?
That was when I did a 6 hours straight talk. There's my camera.
Yeah, that's your camera.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had a 6 hour in one row.
Yeah.
What happened during the 6 hours?
First, I had some guests, Bertola Bergstrand and Ben Roberts. We talked about social capital and basically how do you build digital communities now in a time where change maker is the new thing we're asking for. And then I went into a deep journey, starting talking. No guests showed up on the night. Okay, I let just going. So I kept talking about myself and my concept and who I am. And I went deep into silliness mode, and I went exploring new verbs and new words for what I'm doing and what is needed now in the world. So it's really interesting journey to see when you talk to yourself for so long, what happens to yourself.
I'm very glad also that we could engage people from all over the world. So Jens, you have been the one who was more or less the connection part for all of those program companies. More than 50, I guess it's been.
Yeah, I think we have come across the 50 concept mark. So we had over 50 concepts co-created from people all over the world. We had people from America. We had people in Indonesia. We had guests from Pakistan and India. That's are at least the ones I remember now. So we really had a huge international co-creation.
Cheshire Lake, yeah.
Cheshire Park Lake, exactly.
That's right.
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, and Holland, right? Or no, Netherlands somewhere? No.
Do you thinking of
Yeah,
something
Holland as well.
specific?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I had Flores from Netherlands. Yeah.
Mm. So and Denmark.
Denmark, yeah.
Mm.
Greetings to Anja.
Yeah, that's right. And those are the things that we can measure. But if you would talk a little bit about what we often don't measure, what are your insights, your feelings about this weekend?
I mean, for me, I first of all believe really that I have grown into this capability cape. So it is not only a, a physical cape that I'm wearing, but it's also a mental state that I have been growing into. And I think what I hope to represent with that, and I think that we all did, is having shown what we can actually do if we are stepping into this creator mode, and if we are taking the capability cape and create possibilities in how we respond to the corona situation, how we within 2 weeks basically set up a whole weekend of 24/4 live streaming. So I hope that we have led the way in an inspiring fashion, fashion being really the right word right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, showing actually what is possible if you choose to be engaged, if you choose to be proactive, and if you choose to be empathic.
Mm. And we have had, as we said, many concepts. That means that there is something for every one of you out there. We have had everything from deep sessions to silliness, to which is one of your key components. Yeah, I know that. And into yoga, into meditation, into physical dance. Yeah, a lot of expressions, but also those theoretical frameworks, the historical connections, and we have had the innovations. We have had, I would say it's really spans over something we could call life.
Yeah, I think we have really taken a holistic perspective, and from like you said, emotional expression to a cognitive understanding to spiritual even sessions, and what I think is maybe the most relevant dimension in this is also the social, the relation to other people, how we connect to other people all over the world. Michael, you have, especially in your show, always been very open in inviting to other people. What is it that you take away from this weekend?
Yeah, like we practice, as I said to Bertola, we're going to practice open random support, and that is the concept how we navigate the world. So I am a member of many messenger groups and Facebook groups. So in some of them I share just a link for the live session and see who would join and what they want to talk about. So there were some random people showing up, and some people who actually booked the time slot, so they were sure to get in and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see how connected the world is in our. Let's be real here. I live in a bubble of change makers, so this is not the average population all over the globe connecting up here. But it's at the same time it is people all over the globe, and we can see that whatever we think of the world, it's not every nation for its own. It's all of us together in this boat on our spaceship. So that's the feeling I get. There's so many people showing up from all over the world, just to tell their story and be connected to the world in this way.
A real world citizenship and a world citizen. And we also seen the connection to not only humanity itself, but to the Mother Earth as a whole, and we have been talking about from some perspectives we have, goals whereas we have set together the Sustainable Development Goals. From another perspective, you could say, how can I heal myself? And by doing that, how can I contribute in healing the world? So there is a huge span again, but it's all coming down into working for what is best for the world, which means that it can't be on behalf of something. You can't win and someone else has to lose. Winners can't define losers, and losers can't define winners. We have to have some other factor for success. instead of success equals winning, we could have success equals when what you say and what you do is congruent. That is a more relevant, I would say, definition of success. Anyone who wants to fill in?
No, this is exactly what I also heard in many sessions, the need to contact to get in contact with your own body more, to be listening to who you really are, and to have the courage to embrace what is emerging, and to, exactly like you said, live integrally to what you believe in, and then follow through with your actions on that.
I have a small picture here I want to show everyone. This is one of the Sustainable Development Goals, number 12, and it's in one of the what do you call it, sub-goals, called 12, I think it's 12.8 or something like that. You can go in and watch more deeply into to what it says. The interesting thing with this is that I guess and believe that this is what we have been doing this whole weekend, and this is actually from a little card, a little business card I got from Jakob Tolbeck, who was the one who designed those when he was in the radio show that we have had for a while, the Radio Intentional Decisions, and he spoke about the one. Yeah, he could have been here tonight to. Or during this weekend to be able to explain how he sees what we have been talking about, because now we have a common language. We have the Sustainable Development Goals together, and we have the language, but we also have to do the action on it. It's not just, as he wrote in a very interesting article almost a year ago, we can't only be aware and conscious about it, we also have to make the decisions that take us in that way. And he used the metaphor as a gym. He said that we have sold so many gym cars, but why are not anyone showing up at the gym? So let's go to the gym together, and let's co-create this future. And Captain Future, right now you're in contact with the rest of the world, and I really admire your work with social media. I don't know how you manage all those platforms at the same time.
It's crazy to do that. You have to be a little bit crazy to navigate several. And I also have the cognitive presence. It's very easy if I go into my mode here and live streaming on my iPhone here for my Facebook channel and forget what you're saying. So I have to constantly listen to what you're saying, or else I get disconnected from this session as well.
Do you get questions from the live stream?
No, nothing. This is nothing yet today.
Not
so
yet, okay.
so thankfully we don't have to answer more questions.
That's right. Okay, so I will say some words also before we sum up today. I would again introduce to you the hashtag. We have used, of course, many hashtags during this weekend. Every concept and program has at least one, and then we have one for the whole program series, Best for the World. But we also have this this hashtag called likes to do, which means taking the likes you often just scroll around into action. And when you hashtag likes to do, you really commit to make a change. And this is something you can use, of course. And when you post it, you could post that, okay, here's a like I would like to do, or here's a like that I like to do. So please tell us the stories, but with the hashtag likes to do. I can show it once more. Hashtag likes to do, and hopefully we will see some change here coming on. I would also like to say something. I mean, measuring stuff and so on is not unimportant any longer. It's also important, and we have a lot of people who have contributed. Thank you to all. Various ways of contributing. Everything from cooking coffee to being host for a show, or for bringing hosts to the shows, or having the night shifts, or whatever. But there is also a lot of you who have contributed on the Patreon account, Best for the World. So keep up the work there, because we really need your support. And also on the Swedish Swish, it's a quite local, so to say. If Swedish is a local language, then Swish is a local, but it's like Patreon. So use Patreon if you can, and that would be great for us. Before we end, anything else? Personal reflection, Jens. What will you do tomorrow? Have you thought of that yet?
take a long sleep, and after that, because one thing that really stayed with me, and that how can I say it, that I had a huge insight, I would say, is that systems change is actually quite easy. You just let go of all the as you would say, life reducing habits, and that is actually within the reach for everybody. So if I tomorrow wake up, I will probably take a walk, probably spend some time in nature to process a little bit what is happening here, but also in that way I'm already contributing to systems change, because I'm doing something valuable for myself, and in that way healing the whole system. And plus I'm not supporting any of the life depleting patterns that we see in the world. So that is something that I take away, is how easy it is actually to make a change and to co-create something that is meaningful.
Mm. I also have a question, because what I told you in beginning is that when you move into such an intense period, it can happen that you move into vacuum afterwards. So going out won't be enough. So what is happening next week then?
That's a good question. Something we have been talking about is to take this radio program further. We have been tinkering about this idea for quite a while now, about starting an international podcast. We have been quite familiar now with the YouTube technology, so maybe we can call ourselves already YouTubers. I don't know if we deserve this role, Michael.
Yeah, for sure. You are a YouTuber now.
This is something that we are planning to do, to take the knowledge that we gathered here further, which is also an invitation for carrying on this torch. If you would like to host something similar that we have done in the last 4 days, reach out to us, and we can provide you with some technical assistance. We can provide you with the learnings we had. We had some contacts already that showed some interest in that. And the best way to get in contact is torch@bestfortheworld.
So torch as the torch of hope.
The torch of hope, yes.
The torch of hope. That's great. And a little bit more on the torch. It doesn't have to be exactly the same setups and so on. It could be in any platform, of course, but we have some platforms that we can share. We can share the website Best for the World to use it as we have now for the Program Tableau. You can also use the YouTube stream if you like, and different ways to move it forward. But it doesn't have to end. So please contact us. And who is reading the torch? That's you. Torch email torch@bestforthe.world, or is it me?
I believe it's you.
Oh no. Then I have to check my emails. You got mail. That was a time that also. Yes, and
what is it for you, Stellan, that you take away? Besides all the technical learnings that you had, and
steep learning curve, I would say, for technology. I mean, we have done this a little bit before, but not in this amount, and not with that. One takeaway is very technical or related to it, and that is to have some kind of a space in between programs. But we learn. What my takeaway is, I'm thrilled by all the engagement. I'm so thankful for it, and it means a lot to me as a person, as I believe that's I really believe in engagement over attendance, and I also believe that we have shown that it is possible. I like the term "everything is possible," and it could even be entirely possible, which I've realized here. And for most people, that maybe doesn't seem as bringing together 100 people and 50 concepts created during 2 weeks, but definitely it was. So we know that now.
And yeah, I mean, this is also something I'm especially very grateful for, is the feedback that we got I mean, it is sometimes it's really just the simple things that somebody says, like, oh, you know, you're doing such an inspiring work. Just the one concept I watched was really great, and I heard so much in the last day. Thank you for doing this, and so I just want to say thank you for saying this, and thank you for co-creating, because that without you that wouldn't have been possible.
And Michael, as you are into the digital community since many years, you told us here this is what we have been doing for the last 10 years and so on. We have a Facebook page we created, Best for the World. What is the next step for the digital community?
The digital community is, there's a lot going on now. Thanks to that many people for the first time discover both video calls, work from home, go into listening to audiobooks for the first time and stuff like that. What do you do in a time of that when you suddenly have to change the behavior pattern? You ask around, and there's a lot of change going on. In the digital world, we stay connected even more now. That's what we put our effort in, because now we experience that we can use the tool for some of the optimists during the 90s said that finally we have a global tool that will unite humanity, and then got off the rail for 20 years with the commercial part and of the web. But now finally people are coming together and start communicating in a new way on the internet, and you should really catch this wave and be a force for good in this, and better for the world, like you say. So this is the great opportunity, and we put all our effort into this. This is our window in the tragedy and the suffering that is in this crisis as well. We have to stay on the positive side of the wave, as many of us as can, and use this opportunity now, so we don't go back to business as usual. Like many people, I see many blogs. This is how we go back to business as usual. Like go back to normal, they say, but they really mean business as usual, and we don't want to go there ever again.
I definitely agree on that. And when shifts are coming, I mean, this is something we maybe not could have anticipated, or maybe it was, I don't know, but it came. And of course, I would say business as usual won't be applicable any longer, but then we will have to start something as business as unusual, of course, for a while, which hopefully becomes business as usual. So it is, in other terms, it's norm critics into norm creative, and then it's a new norm. So that is how a shift is happening. And when we talk about paradigm shift, it sounds very great and big and stuff like that, but it could also be, if you're not what are you going to say, afraid of it too much, then it could be quite thrilling.
Yeah.
And
a lot of opportunities arise if you are curious about it. So, you know, if you stay open-minded, as we always say, and stay curious, want to learn about it, there are so many different ways of getting engaged, of being proactive about it. I would say if there's one thing to encourage, that it then try to embrace what is coming and look at it with empathy.
And I would say some final remarks on that.
I want to give a.
You want to? Yeah, you can definitely. But I just what Jens just said is that when we can see that this accelerating change curve, it could be a possibility curve, and if we can do that mental change, it's just what you said, is infinite possibilities there. You were going to say something, Michael.
Yeah, like you said here, during the first session, I had the chance to talk to Bertola for 2 hours. He's seldom in front of the camera and talking. He's usually behind the camera. But the concept he's been working on in Trondheim, called learning society, is the perfect model for what we have to do with our society as a whole. We think we go from a society where we have had many rules and procedures and policies and laws for how we handle everything, and suddenly when we came up with an unknown situation where our society can't learn and adapt quick enough to adapt to a situation, and that's what we have to go into what they call a learning society. So that is a fantastic session, the first session with me and Bertola. I can see if we can find it. But when he deeply has spent 2 hours talking about it, you have been talking about the VUCA world. That's all part of that, the volatile certain complex and ambiguous. And I talked a lot about that during my sessions as well. And for our Swedish listeners, we have a Swedish translation of that called Tokig that Maria has done in. She's on Drivhuset in Gothenburg. So, and the skill set and the mindset around that. And I have a quote. I don't know if can I do it now?
Yes, you can quote.
So this is the quote I finished my last session last night with. That when you see that much of what we just said here during the last minutes in the sofa, many of the words come up. This is from the last quote from the movie Matrix that came out in April 21 years ago. That we really foreshadow what we are experiencing now. What really Matrix really about. This is what the quote is about. I'm going to read it out here. So, I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how this is going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you, a world without rules and control, without borders and boundaries, a world where anything is possible. Where we go from here is a choice I leave to you.
That's really a nice conclusion and of the whole weekend, I would say. And there are many ways to look at the future, of course, and being afraid of it. Maybe it's not the one we should go for. And I also like quotes, and one little bit more silly one is the Yogi Berra saying, "The future isn't what it." No longer what it looked like. So, and that's also interesting because if we're on a track like this is almost predictable by default. But right now, it's up to us. The choices we make, that is what forms both the world we live in, the world we will believe in, and the world we will feel in.
And I just want to add, because I don't have a good quote, so I'm just saying something practical, because you were mentioning the first session. All the sessions that we have been recording, you can find on YouTube, on the Emprogage Best for the World channel, but also on the website under the individual concepts. There will always be the YouTube link, so the videos stay there, so you can once in a while we have referred to different concepts that we have seen and taken part in during the weekend. So if you go to bestfortheworld, you will find all the content that we have been producing in the last 4 days.
Fantastic work, and I would say it's time to end this reflective and maybe creative session also, because looking back is one thing, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't look forward. So I'm looking forward for tomorrow, and I'm looking forward for the day after that, because the alternatives are not the best. So thank you again for watching the whole weekend with us, and the material will stay up on YouTube, of course, and you can find the whole schedule again. And the links to it on bestfortheworld.
And it doesn't end here. I promised a friend that I will continue doing Captain Future Show with open random calls, so people can join in. I post a link and people can randomly join in. So we'll see what's happened there, and you will continue doing us. This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. So thanks once more, and we keep in touch, everyone, and let's work for what is best for the world.
Living in, we are competing in, we are repeating in, we are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.